A pretty popular thought that has been mulling around my mind is for a while now, actually, is this idea of where you want to go, like what's the goal of where you want to go, and creating a positive mindset of the goal that you have in mind. And then working backwards and breaking it down to smaller bits that are achievable. The problem is that, like lots of people, I don't always have patience for those things to be achieved. And it occurred to me that the reason for this is a lot of judgment on my part about where I think I should be going or how much I think I should be doing. Has that ever happened to you? And when you start getting into that mindset about judging what you actually are doing, it sort of negates what you were trying to accomplish, because our own mind is our worst enemy. But I find that this always happens when we get closer and closer to the target of where we want to go. It's almost as if our subconscious is creating this obstacle so we actually don't get there. So this morning, while I was my version of meditation, taking a shower and thinking, I got this idea. I think that the thing is, all of us, I hope you can see this because I've never done this before, all of us want to be in flow. We all want to be in the ocean, right? In the big flow of things. And when we do things, we want it to be successful. We want people to like it. And in the back of our minds, we're thinking, is this it? Is this going to be the big thing? But at the same time as we may want this, there's part of us that's scared to actually even have it. And so we actually stay here in the lake. And the lake is a great place to be because there isn't a lot of flow, there isn't a lot of movement, and we get to stay safe. But we want to dip our feet into that flow without getting submerged in the ocean, right? Like nobody likes that. So many times we try and attempt to go back into the flow by actually going into the river. But the thing about it is, the river has a flow also. And sometimes, as you know, the river can be quite fast and the current can be quite fast. And even that's sometimes a little overwhelming. And so we retreat back to the lake. And in our frustration of returning back to the lake, to the safety space of where we can control what's going on, we judge ourselves once again for retreating. And then we try again. But maybe the answer isn't to retreat to the lake. Maybe the answer is, instead of attempting to go to the ocean, attempting to go to the river, that we should aim for the stream. And if that feels like it's too much, then start with a brook. Because when we start here, the flow is a little slower and it's not so quick. And some people even prefer the bay, which has flow, but it's much calmer. It doesn't have the waves. And that's the bay. But in any case, when your big goal is up here and it feels like it's just too much to achieve, go to a place that feels a little safer to achieve, but at the same time, there is a current, there is a movement, there is a challenge. And avoid going back to that lake where there isn't any movement, where you feel as though there's no changing happening, where you're not, where you're feeling as though you're stagnant. I think the problem is that we feel like we need to go from standing still to doing it all. And maybe what we need to do is start in a place where there's movement, where there's current, where there's challenges, without biting off the whole piece. And eventually we inch our way from the bay to the brook to the stream to the river, and eventually getting to the ocean. I don't know, I thought of that this morning, and I thought to myself, this makes sense to me, because just like anything else in life that you could apply this to, working out, learning a new skill, you cannot go from nothing, knowing nothing about something, to being an expert, right? But sometimes the idea of being that expert, of knowing it all, of being in the current, seems daunting. So we start smaller until we feel like we have our sea legs, so to speak. And then as we get more confident in what we know and how we perceive what we feel like we know and where we want to go, then we can step it up and move into different circles. Let me know what you think about this idea and how it resonates with you. It's just something that sort of popped into my head today.